Most people consume content about growth and never actually grow. They read the posts, they watch the videos, they collect the motivation, and then go back to the same life. The same patterns, same excuses, same version of themselves. And this isn't it. The MindForge podcast exists for people who are serious about the mental work, the discipline, the identity, the hard internal stuff that nobody talks about honestly. And this podcast exists to go even deeper. Every episode, we take what's on the page and we crack it open. The stories behind it, the science underneath it, the application you can actually use. If you're looking for hype, you're in the wrong place. If you're looking to be challenged, to think harder, to leave every episode a little more clear on who you're becoming and what it's going to take, you're exactly where you need to be. I'm Caden Floyd. This is MindForge Podcast, brought to you by Warrior X Training. Let's get to work. Men don't avoid weight. They learn to carry it. That's the thesis of this entire episode, so hold on to it. Now, before I get into anything, I want to be upfront because I know we're towards the tail end of Men's Mental Health Month. And honestly, I went back and forth on whether to even drop this episode right now because it's towards the end. But part of me felt like the moment had passed. But then I thought, no. The timing doesn't matter. What matters is that I put my voice out there, that I share what I actually believe and advocate for something that I think needs to be said. So here we are. Welcome to MindForge Podcast. This is episode 8. I'm your host, Caden Floyd, and today we're going to be talking about something real. We're talking about how choosing physical resistance on purpose builds the kind of mental strength that actually holds when life gets hard. And I'm not talking from theory, I'm talking from experience. Because I deal with mental health. I've had seasons where getting out of bed felt like probably the hardest rep I could do. Where anxiety was loud and motivation was gone. And I didn't really know how to talk about it because it didn't feel like something a man was supposed to really admit. And what started pulling me out of that slowly and imperfectly was putting my body under resistance on purpose and choosing something hard when everything in me wanted to stay comfortable. And that's what this episode is about. It's not a highlight reel, but it's the real work. So let's start with the world that we're living in because the environment is working against you. Now this is the problem. Comfort is the enemy that nobody names. The difference between a boy and a man is how he responds to resistance. Now, we've spent years talking about what men should feel, and not nearly enough time talking about how men should respond. We live in a world that has surgically removed friction from any aspect of life. Think about it. Doors open automatically. Food arrives in 30 minutes while you're still on the couch. Entertainment is infinite and instant. And we genuinely wonder, why so many men are struggling with anxiety, purpose, and mainly identity. It's not a mystery because we've optimized for comfort. And comfort over time is going to manufacture somebody that's fragile. Now, I've lived this, right? There were stretches of my life where I had zero resistance built in. I wake up, I go through the motions, I come home, I scroll on my phone, I sleep, and I repeat. And I started noticing that the smallest things were hitting me harder than they should. A bad interaction, a plan falling through, a day that didn't go the way that I expected. It'd feel like that for hours, but sometimes days. And I couldn't figure out why I was so reactive until I realized I never actually trained myself to handle discomfort. I'd been avoiding it. And avoidance made me fragile without me even knowing it. And honestly, broken down, that's not an emotional problem or a talking problem. What it is a capacity problem. It's not a character flaw. It's just your nervous system responds to what you train it on. So if you've never put it through hard things, It has no reference points for surviving hard things in real life. And then life squeezes you and you crumble in ways that surprise you. Men need to talk, but men also need to train. Both things are true, and you need something inside you that doesn't collapse the first time real pressure shows up. So what does training actually build? Because it's not just a muscle, it's something deeper than that. Because the gym builds more than just a body. Now, escape feels like relief. Capacity feels like freedom. They are not the same thing. When men struggle mentally, the instinct is to escape. Scroll the phone, numb out, avoid the things that are hard. And those escapes do feel like relief in the moment, but it's borrowed time. The weight does not go away. Training, though, is the opposite of escape. It's the deliberate decision to walk toward the hard thing. And that decision, repeated over weeks and months and years, rewires how you operate under pressure. Think about what actually happens, okay, when you step up to a bar that you're not sure that you can move, or a weight that's a little too heavy, that you think is too heavy, right? Your heart rate climbs, your brain starts to throw up voices and flags and thoughts like, this is too much, maybe not today, what if I can't do it? And I want to remind you that that voice that comes on in those hard moments in life, one, that's not you, but two, that's not wisdom. That's your nervous system that hasn't learned that it can survive that thing. But you do it anyway. And that moment, moving forward while everything in you wants to quit, that is what I call a mental rep. You are teaching your brain that discomfort is survivable, that you go in and you come out the other side. And every single time that you do that, you file away evidence. You build a track record, and that track record becomes something that no motivational video can manufacture. It's earned confidence that you've installed in yourself. That's the kind that lives in your bones because you put it there for you. Now, here's where it gets personal again, because this isn't just about the gym. I want to be clear about that. It's about mental health directly, right? Mental health is real. And if you are struggling right now, if you've been carrying something heavy that has nothing to do with a barbell, that does not make you weak. It does not make you any less of a man. It makes you human. I've been in really dark places where I didn't want to talk about it because I thought admitting it meant something was wrong with me. And that silence made it heavier. And that's the trap that so many men fall into. It's the idea that struggling is a flaw rather than just a season. It is not a flaw. The flaw is staying stuck in it alone when you don't have to. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to ask for help. And wanting more for yourself than just surviving isn't weakness. It's self-awareness. And self-awareness is where every real transformation starts. Men's Mental Health Month exists because men are dying, literally, from not addressing what's going on inside. Suicide rates among men are significantly higher. Men are less likely to seek help, and men suffer in silence for years before something breaks. That crisis is real and it deserves real attention. Now, what I want to add to that conversation is this. Physical training is one of the most powerful mental health tools available to us. It regulates the stress hormone in your body. It improves your sleep. It gives your nervous system controlled doses of difficulty so it learns over time that hard things don't break you. They build you. And men who train consistently aren't just stronger physically. but they're harder to break emotionally. They handle pressure better, they sleep better, they're less reactive, and they show up for the people around them in a way that a man running on empty just can't. The gym is not a replacement for therapy, though. Not a replacement for an honest conversation. But it is a tool that too many men are ignoring while they're searching for relief somewhere else. So if you are struggling, start building. Not instead of getting help, but alongside it. Show your mind and your body that they're on the same team. Because once you start building consistently, something changes on the inside that's hard to explain until you feel it. Consistent training quiets you down. It's not in a numb way, but in a very grounding way. It's like you finally have something solid to stand on inside yourself. You stop spiraling over every small thing because you have a reference point. You have been in real discomfort and you breathed through it. You came out the other side. So when life throws something hard at you, maybe that looks like a certain conversation, a setback, a season that's just not going your way, you don't panic the same way because your body already knows how to come back from hard. And you stop needing other people's approval as much when you've put in that work and nobody saw. In a gym at 6 a.m. on a random Tuesday when you didn't feel like it, you carry that with you because you were there, you did the work, and nobody gave it to you. And that's the kind of confidence that can't be taken away because you built it yourself. And that is mental health in action. It's not the absence of struggle, but the presence of something solid inside you that doesn't collapse when life pushes back. Because what you build in silence becomes what holds you up in public. The men who learn to carry it in the gym become men who can carry it in their relationships, in their work, in their families, in the moments where it actually counts. So find your version of the bar. That's what I want you to do this week. It doesn't have to be in the gym, but maybe it's running until your lungs burn, a cold shower every morning, a martial arts class where you're the worst one in the room, a long hike with a heavy pack. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it costs you something. What matters is that you chose it deliberately, not for the photo, not for the caption, not for anyone watching you. Do it because you decided today that you are going to be the kind of man who does hard things on purpose. This week, not someday, but this week, pick the thing and put it in your schedule and show up for it, especially on the days where you don't feel like it, because that's the rep that builds you the most. Pick the hard thing, do it on purpose, and let that be the proof that you need. I have been on both sides of this line, and I know what the escape feels like. Comfortable in the moment, hollow afterward. And I know what the other side feels like too. That quiet, solid thing that grows in you when you keep choosing the hard thing. And it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens. So if you're struggling with your mental health, I want you to reach out, talk to somebody. And while you're doing the work, start putting your body through something hard on purpose and let those two things work together. You don't have to choose between getting help and getting stronger. Do both. That's what this episode has been about. It's not motivation. It's just the truth. That if you can learn to carry weight in the gym, you can learn to carry weight in life. So thank you for being here for this one. I know it went somewhere real, and I appreciate you trusting the process with me. If this hit for you, I want you to share it with a man in your life who needs to hear it, because chances are you know somebody who does. I'm Caden Floyd. This is MindForge Podcast. Stay in the forge and stay strong, and I'll see you guys next week. That's a wrap on today's episode. If this hit home for you, go read the companion post over on the MindForge blog at warriorxtraining.com. That's where it all starts. Every episode lives inside one of those posts, so if you want the full picture, that's where you go. Follow the show, share it with someone who needs it, and I'll see you back here next week. I'm Caden Floyd. Stay in the Forge.